Welcome to video number 2, why silver and gold. Now before I answer that question, let's talk about a very exciting topic, the national debt. Our national debt is soaring out of control like never before. At the timing of this recording, it was right around $15 trillion. Now, we hear numbers like that so often that I think they kind of begin to lose their impact. So I want you to consider this for a moment. How much is $1 trillion really? Now, to get an idea, I want you to imagine that you decided to count to 1 million out loud. How long do you think it would take at a pace of one number per second? Here's the answer. About 12 days. That's all it would take to count to 1 million. But how long do you think it would take to count to 1 billion? About 32 years. You heard right. 32 years to count to 1 billion. So the difference between 1 million and 1 billion is absolutely huge. But listen, it's nothing compared to a trillion. If you want to count to 1 trillion, it will take 32,000 years. Do the math on your own. 32,000 years. Now, again, consider our national debt as you look at this chart once more. Coming up on $15 trillion. If you wanted to count to 15 trillion, it would take you close to 500,000 years at a rate of one number per second. Now, the purchasing power of your dollars has declined 95% since 1913 at the formation of the Federal Reserve. Amazing. 95% decline in the purchasing power of the dollar. Now, as the Fed continues to print money at unprecedented levels, the value of each individual dollar goes down, and it can lead to something called hyperinflation. Now, to get an idea of how it works, we've got to go back in time to when there was something called the gold standard. And at that time, obviously gold was the standard for money. Gold was the money. But it would be difficult to carry around gold or any other precious metal in your pocket. And so they came up with this system where there is a reserve of precious metals, and certificates were issued, and each certificate represented a certain amount of that precious metal. Now, in this picture, I'm just using a gold bar and a $100 bill, so you can kind of get the idea of a piece of paper representing a precious metal. Now, one piece of paper representing that piece of precious metal. But what would happen if more of these pieces of paper would just be printed without precious metal to back them up? And what would happen if you tried to cash in those pieces of paper? Well, the answer to the first question, the value of those pieces of paper would go radically down, and the value of the precious metal would go radically up, and it would be impossible in reality to cash in all of those pieces of paper. Guys, that's really the state of the nation today. Now, here's what hyperinflation can look like. This is a picture of a street in Germany after World War I. This is paper money literally littering the streets. This is what was happening in Zimbabwe just a few years ago, as the president of Zimbabwe began to have paper money printed at an astronomical rate. Food became off the charts expensive. If you wanted to go out and pay for a meal using cash, it would take a stack like this. Here were people that were literally billionaires in their currency, but were starving. Now, could this happen in the United States? Could the U.S. go bankrupt? No one knows for sure, but very smart people, experts, are concerned about what is happening in our nation, and you should be concerned as well. But the truth is, we actually have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here. A problem always equates to an opportunity for those who are thinking and smart people. Many experts agree that precious metals offer the single best way to preserve the purchasing power of your dollars. Precious metals keep going up in price while the dollar keeps going down. Look at this chart that represents the price of silver over the past 10 years. It went from less than $5 an ounce to over $35 an ounce, and currently it is moving up even more. So think about this. If someone were to give you an option today, they wanted to give you a gift, I am going to give you either A, $10,000 in paper money, or B, $10,000 in silver. But here's a condition: you have to lock it in a vault for 10 years before you can touch it. Which would you rather have? $10,000 in paper money or $10,000 in silver? The answer is obvious. Paper money is losing its value. Your money in the bank might be gaining 1% interest per year, possibly 2%, but when inflation is greater than that, guess what? Your dollars are shrinking in value every single day. On the other hand, precious metals are increasing. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to buy gold and silver bullion at wholesale prices, the lowest possible prices, to help you preserve your wealth. Again, what types of bullion am I talking about? Everything you can imagine, all types of coins and bars from around the world at the lowest possible prices.